tour, he was pissed off with Trump. Let me
Yeah,
try
you
to find
think?
it. He was so upset. It was a shocking tweet. I was so surprised when I saw it.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't, I don't know that for a fact, but there it is here. Let me put it up. Wow, it went viral. Got 6 million views on that one.
Yeah.
When I posted it. So people understand how significant it is. But let me just read that quickly for the people that don't know, and Lisa, if you could put that on screen, the one I've just sent you. He says the following. It's a clip. I won't read the whole thing. Who gave you the authority to drag our region into a war with Iran? Who gave you permission to turn our region into a battlefield? Al Habtoor, there, he's a massive billionaire. He has a massive palace just a few minutes from where I am now. It's not too far off. He's also a former diplomat and an outspoken political voice in the Gulf. His questions, he asked the following questions to Trump. Was this your decision or Netanyahu's pressure? Did you calculate collateral damage before firing? I don't understand, though, one thing, Larry, is how they acted surprised when Iran struck all these Gulf nations.
Yes.
Iran warned from the beginning that this is their strategy. They warned that if the US strikes Iran, they will bring the Gulf into it. They said, here it is. Iran planned the exact response months ago and warned everyone that was coming through Oman. Larijani passed a letter to the US via Oman before the February talks, warning Iran would, quote, no longer respond proportionally and would react aggressively. And he talks about how it would target other Gulf nations. So you cannot act surprised. And then you can see the letter here where he's just going ape shit on Trump.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw that, I thought, I think he's reflecting not just his own feelings. I think he's reflecting some sentiment of others in the Gulf that have paid big money. Trump is taking advantage of these folks, and maybe they're finally waking up that they're being scammed. But because his board of peace, he starts a war. I mean, he started, I would call this World War III. He has started it. And, you're right, because Europe is trying to sort of get into it, but I think they're hesitant because they are so economically vulnerable now. And they don't have an alternative for fuel. They don't have an alternative for liquid natural gas. And Putin piled on and said, you know what? They don't want my gas. They're going to penalize us next year. We're not going to wait till next year. We'll cut them off now. Wait a second. What alternative do they have? So, and the U.S. production of certain weapon systems is going to be constrained going forward because of the Chinese restrictions. And the Chinese and Russians are happily helping Iran with intelligence information. And in fact, it's ironic to listen to the bleating, BLEATING, bleating like a sheep crying from the United States over, oh, that's not fair. Russia's helping Iran with intelligence. Well, what the hell have we been doing to Russia via Ukraine for more than 4.5 years? And the German word for it is, I think, Schadenfreude.
Just now as well, Kuwait reports of impacts at the Kuwait Aviation Fueling Company, reportedly targeted by missiles and drones, not just drones, missiles and drones.
Yeah.
Salman Port in Manama, Bahrain was targeted in the strikes, and a large fire has broken out on the Bahrain Ministry of Interior. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, Iran said, you hit us, we'll hit you. And, the United States isn't listening. The U.S. is going to wind up, I think, and again, I could be wrong, but I think Iran's got enormous leverage when it comes to a negotiated end of the settlement. And I think one of their demands should be, and maybe will be, that they're not going to lift the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz until the economic sanctions that have been leveled on Iran are lifted, period. And they may even demand that the Palestinians be given free access to Egypt.
Question, as we wrap this, how do you think the Middle East will look like? The Gulf nations are also pissed at Iran for striking them. Iran is pissed at everybody. If the regime survives, which I think it will survive this, the region will never be the same. And people said that after October 7th. You remember how analysts said after October 7th, the region will never be the same. that was even an understatement back then.
Yeah, this is in a way. This I think the result of this will be to break the colonial hold that the West has held over the Middle East. Going back 100 years. We go back to Sykes-Picot, where they carved up. You created Jordan, create Syria, a different kind of Syria. Iraq is sort of cobbled together. If you will, the only ancient empire really there, apart from Egypt, is Iran. I actually think it's more likely that as the defeat of the United States in this instance will lead Iran and Egypt to reconcile and start working together more closely. I think you're going to see a dramatic reduction in the U.S. influence in the region. And
How
at
about
the same
Israel?
time, yeah, I think Israel's in trouble. I think Israel's very existence, its economic existence, is imperiled. It can't keep it's suffered more damage in a week. If you go to Instagram, that's one of the few social media posts that's still showing the damage that's being done in Tel Aviv. It's significant. Stanislav Kripivnik, who I'm sure you talked to, Stas has been monitoring some other social media that's not being repressed by the Israeli censors, and he described it as Tel Aviv's getting the Gaza treatment, and that's what it looks like. Parts of Tel Aviv now look like Gaza in terms of destroyed buildings and rubble.
And you think Gulf nations will move away from their alliance with Israel?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, what's in it for them? I mean, it's not like Israel's sitting on a pile of gold it can give them. Israel's not some massive market of consumers that they're going to, we want to consume what you produce. I think for their own survival, and I think the survival instinct will kick in first in Bahrain, where you've got an 80% Shia population, maybe as high as 90%. And it's not like the Saudis or the Emiratis or the Qataris are governments based on a popular mandate with the public largely supporting it because they're great Democrats or great leaders. These are just wealthy families that have been able to consolidate their power, and I think the events that are unfolding are going to jeopardize that.
Larry, I know we're meant to wrap, but just before we wrap, I just want to show the audience the Gulf is getting hammered right now. Just now, Shahad drone just impacted an apartment that's housing American soldiers. I'm just going to put it on screen for you just to give you an idea. But I was just talking to someone close to me, and I was just telling her, like, it seems to be quieting right now. And the attacks have been quieting, especially after the comment by the president. If anything, this is the video while the team puts it up on screen. That's just a drone going with no air defense whatsoever in Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.